Hello, welcome to part 4 of Starrcade 1983 of Flair for the Gold. And before I start recording on the audio app that I use to record myself on, let me start off by telling y'all that in case y'all wondering how was he able to use the same white color paint with a different color, let me show y'all. It's right here. These colored pencils that are like paint, but they're for coloring. You can use them on your face, and if you're used to drawing for fun and you turn out to have an artistic ability, then it's perfect. It is perfect to use for your face if you like face painting like I do. Okay. So if anybody has an idea of doing this for fun, just to see if they're good at it, you go online at Walmart, on Walmart's new app for shopping, set up an account, Walmart Plus or W Plus, and you can save for shipping and everything with this account. Everything will come to you in the mail. And just look for crayons for painting, or paint crayons, I believe. That's what it's called. Let me see if they have the name right here. Face paint crayons, washable. Look for face paint crayons if y'all decide to go to download W Plus to save time. Just save time in case I might not have the time. Y'all need to go shopping at times, and it can just save y'all some trouble. And for me personally, I never seen these paintings, the paint that I've got online, because I also got from W Plus these washable project paint, crazy art on W Plus, and I got these new assorted face paint, also washable, on W Plus. So if you want to save time and money while you're thinking about doing something like this for fun, or because you might actually, your job may be having to do with painting faces and things of that nature, go on W Plus app, set up an account, get free shipping. It saves you a lot of time. I'm gonna go get my phone to check on it so that I can start doing the audio for this. Hello, welcome to Developing Johnny Mac podcast, and this is part 4 of Starrcade 1983, a Flair for the Gold. And along with my name Johnny Mac, my nickname that I want to call myself is the Diller. And I would have to look back at the episodes I've already done. So I think I already did 2 episodes on Launchpad 1 with this. 1, 2, or 3 full episodes of this. And I don't want to repeat myself, but I don't recall on Launchpad 1 ever sharing about my nickname, but I did share yesterday, before I even started talking about Starrcade 1983 parts 2 and 3, I did share with y'all how I thought about how along with being face painted and taking my great grandparents' first and last names, another thing I mentioned was how I like to shuffle cards and play them. So I call myself the Dealer. Well, the truth of the matter is that when I like to not only record a podcast, but I like to listen to podcasts. And one thing I did was former WWE superstar Just Incredible. His real name is PJ Pollock. He would do a YouTube video called Pro Wrestling 101. And he might do something like that still, even though I'm not sure specifically what the name of the podcast is. But I think there's an entire network podcast show or a network of shows called Two Man Power Trip. And he's a part of that. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it's still called that, but I think that's the name of it. And if it is still called that, then I really don't know the name of the podcast that he does. But he's on one of those podcasts as a co-host. And when he would do YouTube videos, he would do one interview he did, and he was in the he was actually outside by the trees, where he was standing around just talking. And one of the biggest questions I think he was asked by a lot of people that would go to wrestling training school but were not taught how to put together a character, so he decided to tell them in an episode how to put together a character. And he said, just play up what you do every day or things that you like. Now, I don't play cards as much as I would like to play, because we don't have regular tables up until last night. And the table's not set up yet, so I can't play cards as much as I like, but throughout my life, I always loved playing cards like solitaire. When I became an adult, my grandpa taught me a card game called 2021, where you try to get either 2 cards of 20 or 2 cards of 21. 2 cards that add to 21. And when we would play cards, we would play cards together. Like, me and my grandpa would always play poker. Me and my mom and dad, or I think one time my brother, maybe. We played Casino, which I would have to write down the rules just to explain what that's about. Um, anyway, I said, that's a good idea right there. So the name The Dealer came up when I realized, wait a minute. I my favorite thing to do when we're playing the cards is to deal the cards. I like to do that because I just like the feeling of dealing cards. And so I said, well, Ric Flair called himself the Dealer when he was the NWA Heavyweight Champion. So because you literally have to deal out cards when you play card games, why don't I call myself that as a nickname so that it could match what my character is about, even though it's just a common, even though some people would say, well, you're just calling matches, yes, but I believe commentators should have more of a focus. Characters should have more than just should have more to their to they should have more depth to their character than just calling matches. So even though that's the most important thing, they respond to matches, and sometimes we don't see enough of their ability to act. We just see them respond to matches, and that can be so one-dimensional that we don't really realize how talented these men and sometimes women can be in that environment. So that's why as somebody who's aspiring to become a commentator, that's why I think it's important to think of all the ways you can make a commentator's job. You can bring more focus to it than before, or you can try to add to it than it's been added to before. So yeah, the main thing about my character, I would want them to know that I love to play cards. If I could, I would probably get a different pack for every night, just for it to look different, just for it to be fresh. And let me see if I can get to the continue watching section. Okay, I wasn't signed in, that's why I couldn't get to the continue watching section. Okay. The announcers for the show, commentators for the show, just brought in a special guest from from a radio station inside Greensboro, North Carolina, to talk about the main event. And you can see this guy is a fan because he looks kind of nervous to talk like that, but also excited. The guy's name is Dude Walker from Durham Radio. And he believes Ric Flair will win tonight in his backyard because Val Hardy's been working. how so many people in Greensboro are cheering for him and hoping that he wins. It was Bob Caudle and Gordon Sully who called this event, and remember on What Happened When Monday, Tony Schiavone said, and this was years before he was in MLW, years before MLW announced their TV show that's now on YouTube, Fusion. So he said one episode that when he first, that the reason he did not, when people asked him about joining the WWE Hall of Fame, he said flat out that he felt like somebody like Bob Caudle should be in there before him. And I think it's very interesting he would talk about that because, or mention him specifically because he was a very good commentator, but a lot of people who watch WWE today may not know who he is, so even though we can understand, or at least I can understand his position in that, with that, when he was first asked about that on his podcast, even though I can understand him saying that, I don't know if that would be a good idea, although it would be a great way for them. It would be great if they could put him in the legacy wing. I would say that. And as I'm getting prepared for the next match, and to say this is really good. When I say good, I'm not bragging. I mean it's really fun to do this. And I want to say thank you to anybody who watches this, anybody who hits the tweet. At least I think I can share this on Twitter. Who reads this tweet and watches this. It's really fun for me, and I hope y'all don't mind the paint job. This is just something I'm doing for fun. Try to see if I can see if I have any way at all to try to get in character, or get into a character that I feel would be right for what I'm looking for. And what I did yesterday was actually, it's exactly what I was looking for. I was looking to call a match the way I would call it, the way I think I would call it if I was in character, because one thing I'd gone back to what I said earlier about Just Incredible, saying how to create a character if you're in wrestling or getting into wrestling. I'd heard him say this, that some parts of his character were like the real person, but about probably 80% of how he carried himself was the way he wished he could act in real life, but couldn't because it's not his personality. So what I'm looking for is to be outspoken, but also calm enough to where people won't feel like, I'm struggling with that word, but I believe the word is abrasive. He's outspoken but not abrasive. I'm looking for that balance of outspoken with words, but not to the point of obnoxious. And I know that Some of y'all may think that's revealing too much, but I just thought that it would be interesting for if y'all are interested in knowing about character development. I thought that would be interesting to share that. Okay, I was reading what the three men had to say right here with Tony Schiavone. The bottom line to this, with this, is that their bottom line was Ric Flair's not out of hot water by being in a cage match because of who he's in the ring with. Let me just say this. When you're as determined as Ric Flair is in this scenario, it does not matter how tough you are. If your heart is not as determined as your opponent, theoretically speaking, no amount of physical or mental toughness can be able to help you overcome somebody that's determined in this case. I've said this once before, and I'll say it again. Don't think he went through all. I may have not said it on video, but I'm saying it now. And I said this on Twitter once. Don't think he went through all the trouble he went through coming back after was having his neck injured. Don't think he came back from that and all the physical pain of training and getting ready for this and conditioning himself. Don't think that he doesn't know what he's getting himself into. Don't underestimate the man because of how tough the opponent is, because he's been there 7 times, but he's not in as good of a condition as his opponent. That's going to be the most important aspect of not just this match, but any match. Oh. This Road's talking right here. Very exciting to see Dusty Rhodes is planning on going after that third title reign, whether it's Ric Flair or Dusty Rhodes, whether it's Ric Flair or Harley Race in this case. Okay, 30 seconds left of this advertisement. The next match, a non-title U.S. Heavyweight title match, and a dog collar match is going to be the special dog collar match between the U.S. Heavyweight Champion Greg the Hammer Valentine and his rival Rowdy Roddy Piper. I'm just gonna state this the most honest way I can say. I know there's an old saying that I hear in wrestling that do it, you win any way you can, or you do, or by any means necessary, you win any way you can. But to put a dog collar around your neck just to make sure that your opponent can't get away from you is so severe. This is to the point of ridiculous. And the fact that the title's not even on the line is what makes it even more ridiculous. We've seen dog collar matches. No, not dog collar. We had seen a Texas Bull Rope match before this. Maybe even the Russian chain match created by Boris Malenko before this. But the reason this is crazier than those two is because you just put a chain and a part of the Texas Bull Rope around your wrist in that match. This, you put both ends of the dog collar around each other's neck. That's why it's even crazier than a bull rope match or a Russian chain match. But I do have to say one thing, though. At least in these matches, at least it's supposed to be one fall to a finish. both grabbing hold of the chain, trying to get in. I think they're trying to make sure. It's almost like a tug of war to try to see who can get to the opponent first. But when one uses it against the other, like Piper used it against Valentine, they both go away. It's like y'all gotta find a way, guys. I'm not supposed to be biased here, so one of y'all have got to find a way to get an advantage over the other. You can't just stand there. The reason the fans paid to see this is so they can see y'all lock up at some point. Come on. Lock up. Get out of that corner. Grab the chain. Lock it. Bennett. Lock it up. Don't just stand there. Do something. That's it. Finally, rights and lefts. Actually, both of them were hitting each other one right after the other. Ooh. Just use the chain like it was belt across the leg of Valentine. Piper did. He's using it with his right hand. Ooh, he hit it like that with both hands with the chain. Pulls them again with the right hand. Finally, Valentine falls. Ooh. Pulls it between his legs. Ooh, just hit him with another right hand. Go straight down like a nosedive. Right hand by Valentine, elbow by Valentine, another elbow. Let's see. Grabs the chain, he does a right hand of his own. Ooh. Let's see. Snapmare down, take down to Piper. Alright. Okay, let's see. If I was to say what I believe the best way of explaining this is the only reason I could think that would be a good reason for either man to agree to this is because they want to fight each other so badly. They want to do anything they can do to fight each other, and as unnecessary as this match is, I think a lot of us may go to this degree if we're in either of these men's shoes. If this is the only way to fight, there's some of us who this was the only way to try to win a fight. That's what we would do. And yes, it's crazy. It's ridiculous. As a matter of fact, I think the referee, even though this is no disqualification, I think the referee should get out the ring, go around where the steps are, and pick up the chain so that the way it looks right now, neither man would be in more distress than necessary. Right hand to Valentine. Ooh. Nope. say what you will. I'm not even going to say that. As I'm talking right here, me talking as if I'm calling a match in person. That's what I would be saying if this is happening right now. Matter of fact, I'm glad this can't happen right now, today, because the way the world is today, fans would not know how to just sit down and watch it. So I'm glad they don't. I'm glad they don't allow this today. I don't want to think too far ahead, so let's pay attention to this and say what I'm thinking of right now for when the first part of the video comes to an end. Or should I say the fourth part of this edition, and I feel like it's enough to end it. I'll share this thought with y'all when I think it's time to end the video. And I'll just say this. Man, Piper, if I was Piper, I know what I would be doing. When Valentine came out of, put his foot out the ring, I think I would have caught his leg, pulled it down on the rope so that I could get in and try to finish it so that the crowd would be happy with the victory. Hey. Ooh, that was a right hand to Piper as he's in the corner. I'm glad that Valentine started using his regular hand instead of throwing the chain like he's throwing a right hand. By the way, anybody who likes listening to this on Launchpad 1 Developing Johnny Mac, go on YouTube. I'm not even sure if I even have a name. I know that I put the name Johnny Mac as a handle on YouTube, but I'm not sure if I actually put a name for this channel. Okay. First pinfall of the match. Valentine just made a pinfall attempt he got a 2 count after an running elbow drop. Another elbow drop, 2 kick out by Piper. See, after Piper tripped Valentine and they both he charged at Valentine with a clothesline. He's doing chops and rights and lefts and everything. The last person you wanted Now I'm talking as a fan. Sometimes I have to do that when I think about this about some of these wrestlers we're gonna be seeing. Some of them have died, so when a match is involving somebody who died, I have to say was to preface to reference the fact that this is from the past and I'm just developing a character. And if anybody watching this, and I do believe I put the developing Johnny Mac name on YouTube. So if y'all are on YouTube, look for developing Johnny Mac, and please subscribe. I need about 50 subscribers before I can do a live video. So please hit subscribe. Whether y'all are new to developing Johnny Mac or have been subscribed since the first episode, please tell everybody you know that's a fan of wrestling podcasts. Please let everybody know about this so that I can help ask them to subscribe on YouTube also, and that would really help me so I can do live videos and do it like a podcast. Three, 4 kickouts by Roddy Piper right here. Ray Valentine's so desperate he tries to hold his arms down for a 3 count. Doesn't do any good. Let's see. Jumps up and he goes down with his knee across Piper's stomach. There's a front face lock by Greg Valentine on Piper. Let's see who gets the better of the exchange. Okay. Neither man's being able to go for the vertical suplex, but Piper just hit it. It was a vertical suplex, all right. The crowd has shown their approval of that with their clapping in the audience. Okay. They gotta get up before a count of 10. And just them sitting up is enough for the referee to stop the count. A right hand to the gut of Valentine. Forearm to Piper's head. Actually, side of his face. A couple of times. Right hand by Piper. Irish whip to the corner. Goes for a sleeper hold of his own on Piper. Picks up the arm for 1. Second time he picks it up and goes down. Piper's still in it. He's starting to pull the chain out from his hand. I think he's going to try to do something with it. Let's see. Been so long since I saw this event, I don't remember what he does here. That's why I'm watching it. Oh, he hit Valentine with his right hand with the chain so he could fall down. Set up by Piper. Let's see. Forearm over the head of Piper as Valentine comes from the middle rope. He runs with an elbow onto Piper. Piper might pull the chain right here, I'm not sure. Yeah, he pulls the chain all right. Pulls him down. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And he wraps the chain around his leg. 2. It's over. He wins the match. No, I know this is anything goes when the match is over. Valentine should get fined, suspended. Heck, I'd strip the title from him if I was the person in charge. Show Ric Flair having one more interview, this time with Wyatt McDaniel on the side of him. Wyatt McDaniel said he's right behind 100%, and even though he can't do anything himself, nobody can. He knows based off of his history with Ric Flair in the past. He knows what he can do, so that's why he's behind Flair 100%. See, because he had no doubt that Ric Flair could take the title from Harley Race. And the next match, is for the tag team titles. The Jack Gerald and Jack Briscoe were already in the ring. Angelo Mosca is the referee like he said he would be. He's wearing a PWI magazine shirt. And the reason I think that's important is it's interesting. Usually they're expected to, even a special guest referee should be expected to wear a shirt that looks like he's a referee. That's why that's interesting to me that he would wear a shirt like that. First, they introduced Jay Youngblood and Ricky Steamboat as the challengers, and they're on their way to the ring. By the way, they showed the pictures of Youngblood and Steamboat. By the time they show back, by the time the camera picture goes back to the ring announcer, they're already at the ring. So now it's time for the introductions of Jack and Jerry Briscoe. And they show up their picture next. Hand the titles to the referee, Angelo Mosca. And I always loved in wrestling how they would take the title, whether it's tag team, U.S. title, Intercontinental title, or the World title, and they would show it to the audience and hand it to their timekeeper. Always loved that practice because it shows the importance of the title. This business is just as much psychological as it is physical. See what happens here. Okay, it's going to be Jack Briscoe starting off against Ricky Steamboat. Walk up into the corner. Ricky Steamboat does a clean break. See, lock up in the center of the ring. See what happens here. Side headlock by Jack. Irish whip by Ricky. Leapfrog by Ricky. Another one. Jack Briscoe stopped himself, holding on to the ropes because he knew Steamboat was likely gonna go for the chops, double chops, which he did like he was going to do. Lock up. Wrist lock. He tightens it, tags in his brother. His brother tags himself in. It's in there, Gerald does with that axe handle like. Tries to tighten it again, but gets hit with a drop toe hold. Good offensive and defensive moves by both teams. Side headlock by Jack Briscoe, who's just tagged in by his brother. He turns that into hammerlock on Steamboat. There is a small weight advantage that Jack Briscoe has. But the advantage that Steamboat has is his upper body strength, his ability to